Hello and welcome to Nomad Knitter. My name is Malene and this is my podcast episode number 2, my knitting podcast. The first one has been received so well by the internet. I am so happy and I'm so glad that people want to see what I'm knitting. So I thought about making another one before moving, because I am moving to Denmark and it is happening in 2 days. So before everything is taken off the walls anyways. Nothing behind me anymore. I wanted to keep it nice for the last podcast, but I have to stay real. So there's still my nice Monstera plants. Makes everything look really nice, so I kept that in the background. And we still have the sofa, but we are also selling it. So I just wanted to show a few of the things that I've finished, because one is in use right now. My boyfriend is wearing the Balaclava I knit for him, so that's one of the finished objects. Other than that, I have a few. But let me just start saying that if you're new to this channel, welcome. I share knitting podcasts, and now I'm doing this little vlogmas just as a practice and to see how I like vlogging, how it is. And there will probably be more videos about traveling, about lifestyle, I guess, because I am living. So it's going to be me sharing whatever I feel is interesting at the moment. And right now it's just knitting. And then when I've moved and settled down in the new place, and when I know what I'm gonna do, you will know more. And that's what's gonna happen on this channel. So it might be, traveling, as I said, but also other things. So, but let's get into the video and let me start telling you what I'm wearing. So this is my own design. It is just a vest, and excuse me for the shadow. I'm having a light situation here because it is very dark. It is in the afternoon. I'm in the north of Germany and it's December, so it is very dark right now in the afternoon. So that's why I'm having all the lights turned on in this room. It is a vest that I've designed now 2 years ago, I think, or 1 year ago maybe. It looks like another one that I have seen. Later on I saw Petite Knit having a vest like this, but I just made it. And it is short, like cropped a little bit, in beige, and has this little rip, and has this nice detail here. It's before I discovered all these patterns. I love patterns now, and I am probably also going to go back to designing my things myself, but it is just so exhausting. It's so much more easy to just follow a pattern, as you probably know. When you have to make your own, it's just all this, there's so much room for mistakes, and I have to rip back, and so for now I'm taking a break and just follow patterns. And in patterns, reading patterns, I learned so much. There's so many new techniques and so many new patterns. When I say patterns, sometimes the word patterns for me means also texture, I guess. Pattern, like when there's a pattern in the fabric. Well, there's many things you learn with patterns. And the yarn I used, it's Drops Nepal, I think I used them, and in this beige, and I used double 2 threads of the yarn on needle size 5 or 6. I'm just guessing because I don't know anymore. And I've been wearing it so much. I wear it so much. I love using vests. I have another one, a brown one that I showed in the first podcast. The Weekend Slipover by Petite Knit with a V-neck. I'm so glad that I have that one too now, so I can switch, because this one is getting really, how do you say, used. You can really see the yarn purling, or the, what is it called, getting these little lice. No. So it's getting used a lot. I just love having this warm on my body, and then the arms, they don't have to be that warm when I wear a jacket over. And you can just wear nice shirts underneath. It's a nice way of using this little more light clothing in winter to have your body warm, but you can still see. I like that. Yes, let's get over to the next thing. The first finished object that I'm going to show you, it's a two-part, but I was ready to film today when it was more light, and I was so ready, everything was set up. And as it is supposed to for me to be a little bit challenging, this podcasting, because then I had forgotten my gloves when I was in the shop when I was downtown. But luckily I don't live far away, so I could just run down. And I had to bring something else there anyway, so it was nice. Then I had to get out again and pick up these gloves. It is gloves. I was so cold on my hands a few days ago, a few weeks. No, I think now a week ago I started making them. No, 2 weeks ago. And so I paused my one cardigan that I'm working on because I needed the needle size 4.5. And quickly I just finished these. Took me not long. I don't know anymore how long. It is a pattern called Mittens. Mittens by, I'll put in the description box. It's a Danish designer. It's an old, this old paper I had with this pattern. I had it laying around that my mom gave me once, a long time ago. But it's this nice brown yarn that I had from my leftover from my vest, from Mamagarndk. Petite Garn, I think, no. I don't know. I will tell you in the box below. So it's this nice brown, a little bit gray pointed. This is ribbed. The pattern calls for knitting it longer. In the pattern they knit them way longer and then they roll them, but I thought this is enough. So I can just stick it into my jacket. Yeah, really nice little mittens that are warm, a little bit itchy, but it's okay because it's only for my hands. Yeah, very functional. But I mean, if it's gonna be a stormy wind, it's still cold, and I might put on a second pair underneath. I have some yellow finger gloves that my mom knit for me. Knit on a needle 2.5 or something. It's really thin ones. And when I say needle sizes, it's the European sizes. So here we go after millimeters, as you probably know. Just so no one misunderstands me, because I get always so confused about all these different numbers and counting ways there is. I hate English knitting, like patterns written in English. If I don't manage to get them in Danish or German, I'm really annoyed, because it's like knit and purl. And here we just knit, but we knit different ways, of course. But it's written as knitting in wrang or rib or rat. So that is just different. I always get them in German or Danish. I am fluent in both. And I'm comfortable in both, but I prefer Danish. Danish is just the knitting language that I have learned, I think, first. Yes. So then I have another thing. It's a little bit random. I didn't show you in the last podcast as when I was working on it, even though I was. But I forgot because I was stressed and I was like, so excited because I had so many things to show, and at some point I thought I have to stop showing. I can't show you everything. So, but it's done, and it's a little bag, a little Lærkebakke design. I am thinking of felting it in the washing machine so that it gets more sturdy. And this all these different yarn that you tie them together and you knit. So you create your own yarn. You have one yarn ball that's just a base color, and then the other one that has base color, but you cut and you put another color, and then you cut and you put the base color. So it's like, as you can see, mostly the base color, but these different colors. I think it's very nice. But it was going to be the no limit sweater, but I was at some point. I have already knitted one of her sweaters, and I enjoyed it so much. It was one of the raglan one, Alone Together sweater, I think it's called. I had so much fun knitting that one, and it was so fast. I remember I was being sick, and I knitted it in 1 week because it was also really thick needles. And then I found this other one, but this is another one that is supposed to be sewn together. So it's like 2 squares, and I don't know, but somehow it took so long just to make this piece. So this is the back piece, just sewn together now. It just took me so long with all this tying the knots. I had so much fun though. Don't misunderstand me, because I love it. But still, at some point it took me too long time, and I thought, no, I'm gonna use all my nice scrap yarn that I could use to do other things with too. So I just used up all the blacks and grays. So at least I got that used up. But I just sew it together in the end and the bottom, and then I made these handle. I just closed off a few and picked up new stitches over and did it in the round, and I think it's nice. I don't know if I'm gonna use this kind of bag. I also have I did manage to make a little strap. I don't know if it's gonna be too short. I think it is. I just put it inside. I might put it in. I might sew it on, but yeah, it's one little scrap project. And then on to the next. We just go right on to the next. This one though I showed you in the last podcast, so if you saw it, you can see now that the hat is done. Finished the hat with the yarn that my grandpa hand spun back in the days when he was still alive. All the white is his yarn. The brown is the same as the gloves, and this redder brown tone is also from some sheep here close to where I live. But I don't remember. Her name, a woman, she hand spun it also. Her name, Friesenwolle, it's a German. She has a little brand. She also sells her yarn. So that is the hat. It's just a drops pattern, a free pattern. Just a very basic 2x2 ribbing. And it's a little bit tight. Now I have my weird hair underneath, but just to show you. It's nice, but as I said, it's a little tight. So it always goes up, but it's okay. I don't wear hats much actually. I prefer to just put on my hoodie from my winter jacket. But if it's really, really cold, it's good to have. It's good to have. And it matches with my gloves because of the brown. I think that's very nice. And it was really fun to knit on the hat. I wish I would be a person who wears hats all the time. Then I would make myself some more hats. Maybe I just will. Just have a few different colors and shapes. Because I want to also knit some hats by some smaller designers. not smaller, but some designers, new designers. That's my plan. Yes. And to go with the hat and the gloves, I have a new little scarf. As you can see, oh, the microphone. Just this little Sophiescarf, green. You saw it probably in the Vlogmas 2. I finished it also 1 week ago now. And it's the same yarn as I used for the first one, the red one I made. And it's a cashmere yarn from Langyarns. And I love knitting on these. They're so much fun and so quick. It's a quick project. And I used only 2.5 yarn ball. I mean, it was 1 ball of yarn of this kind was 25 grams. And I used 1.5 almost approximately from that. You could also choose to use completely the 2 yarn balls. I did that for another one, but then it just got longer. It was 3 times around my neck, and it was perfect too. But this is also really nice to have a little short one. I always have it underneath a bigger scarf. When I go out, I have this, and then my jacket over, and then a bigger scarf around, because it looks nice, but also then this is really protecting the neck. No wind can get in. Because sometimes I get freezing in here. Freezing. Yeah, I have some things that I really wanted to be done with, but I cannot force it, and I don't want to be also like forcing it for the podcast. I really have to. It's a nice new practice now to be careful and not say I have to finish this and then I make the podcast, instead of okay, I make the podcast as I planned, and then whatever is done, and whatever is not is not. The last finished object. I mean, I have also that balaclava that I said. I might just insert a photo or a video here of TV wearing it. That's a good idea. Can you show your face? Okay, and then what else did I finish? Yes, these 2 little ones. I mean, I'm gonna show one. A little sweater. It's a Christmas present, and it's going to hang on a tree. You've probably seen a lot more of these on YouTube in these vlogmas. I have seen a few, and they're so cute. And it's some really quick projects, but I don't really like knitting and sewing together. And this was a sew together project. So that's the last finished object for today. I have something that is almost done, and it is the cardigan that I showed also in the first podcast, if you saw it, and I've showed it. It's the Collett jacket by Witre design. The only thing that's missing is the one button band, on the left side with the holes in. And then over here this is attached, and that's where I'm gonna put some buttons. I don't know yet which ones, but it has to be some handmade buttons. Either ceramic by a friend, or maybe I wanna order Martina from We Grow Wild's olive tree buttons that she makes herself. I want something like that. But it's almost done. It's just missing that button band, and then it has to go all the way down. And then the last ribbing also is missing 5 centimeters of ribbing all the way back and forth. But both the arms are done. They're really fluffy, and I love this texture that these two yarns they make together. It is Drops Puna, and this is some kind of silk mohair. You can watch my other podcast if you would like to know more about this yarn. I said it in there, or I can put it down in the link below. I will also put the names of the yarn there. This is really nice, and I really can't wait to wear it. But I paused it so that I could, as I said, to use the needles for the gloves. So that's why it has been paused once in a while. But now the gloves are done and the cardigan, I'm almost done with that. And then in the new year, I have a new cardigan that I can wear, and it's almost going to be like a jacket because it's really thick. So it's a nice for the also for spring, when spring comes, to have a little in between seasons jacket. Okay. And then one thing I forgot to show that, well, this is another finished object that is just, I already showed it to you, but I did some changes. So this is the Monday sweater. I've been wearing it so much already, but I how do you say? I put in this label. Wait, yes. This label, I bought the label when I went to Tante Grøn in Odense, a Danish also yarn shop. We do have yarn shops in Germany too, but I prefer to go to Denmark. That's why I'm also moving. I mean, it's the knitters, one of the knitters' country. I just love. So I love that. My boyfriend is coming home, I think. I can hear the steps. Let me just show you two more things. Two more work in progress. This one you might also have seen. It's also not done yet. It is the Naked Knit basic bra by they're called Naked Knit, the designers. So this is almost done. It's just missing the straps. I will hopefully be able to show to you soon that it's done. The yarn is from a brand called Ladybug, and this one was called LavendarHaze, and I bought it it's also a long time ago, but I remember it being on sale. And I was like, ooh, LavendarHaze, what a nice color. And I tried this this is my second try with this bra. And it is going well, but it feels like it's way too big again. I tried to wear it today. The elastic is a little bit tight. I remember my mom saying, but do you like these elastics around your chest? And I was like, yeah, sure, it's no problem. I measured it after me, and then I put it on today, and I was hearing her voice in my head, and I thought, damn, I don't like when it's so tight. I think it's too tight. Joke's on me, but it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I think it's gonna probably loosen a little bit when I wear it, I hope. But these are too big, I think. But I'm gonna see. Hopefully a good blogging will do. And yeah, I will show you when it's done. But it's been a nice challenge. Like, it's super thin needles, 2.5. It's so thin, and so I wasn't used to that at all. But I have gotten more used to it now, and it's a nice practice so that I can also, because now that I'm going to knit a lot of socks. I bought a lot of sock yarn, and I have a lot of sock yarn, so I'm gonna put my glasses on now. I didn't have them on because of the reflections, but I just see better with them, so I feel like the world is a little bit toned down when I'm not wearing them. Excuse me. I have been sick for the past week. again. So me and my partner, we were both so sick for 1 week, but I got a lot of time to knit on the cardigan and other things. So here is another project that is also on thin needles that I'm grateful for the bra. So that what I was trying to say, that I have had practice now on the thin needles with the bra, so that I can be knitting a lot of socks now. And this is a sock pattern, no sock pattern, it's just a sock that I am knitting. Come on, 64 stitches. Well, so 64 stitches, and I'm trying to practice doing some kind of fair isle. This looks a little bit too much like houses for me, but that's okay. But it wasn't the plan. And I love how this ribbing in color turned out. That was my plan all along, to make this. And I have a lot of different colors that I'm just trying to experiment with. This is a green Isager yarn. I have this one. Isager sock yarn with alpaca, merino wool and recycled nylon. This whole ball has 100 gram and 387 meters. And this is not the right color that says on the thing, because it's from another one. So it's green. It looks like a forest green. I had it for a long time already. And then I have just a lot of small scraps that I'm gonna make the stripes with. So yeah, and I'm knitting on this short needles. I could also do it on those double pointed needles where you have 5 needles, but somehow I don't like it so much. It always makes holes, but I want also to try and practice with that and see if I like that too. That's how I learned knitting a little bit with my mom. She knitted the socks, and then I could knit in between when it was just going round, around, around. I remember practicing that like that. So as I said, I got a lot of sock yarn because I would love to knit more socks. I have only one pair that I made. That was my first and only pair of socks. Showed it in my first podcast. Some grey Sunday socks by Petite Knit. But I want to learn it. I know how to. I understood now how the concept of knitting a sock is, and I was amazed how easy for me, because now that I have so much knitting experience, it works. Because I thought socks must be the most crazy thing to knit. But then I heard someone say, if you can knit socks, you can knit everything. But it's always different. Some people say it's really difficult, some people say it's the easiest thing. But as I saw Scanny Legend, another podcaster, knit, it was, she has always socks in a little pouch in her bag. And it's just an easy project to bring with you everywhere. And I think it's great, because I always knit bigger things and I have these big bags with me somewhere. And so I also want to be that kind of person who always has a sock being knitted. And Scanny Legend, she has amazing socks. She's going crazy with all the patterns, making banana socks and strawberry socks with these strawberries on, and that's next level. I'm gonna go there too, but I'm just starting. But I see it's not that hard probably, this putting on all these colors. I mean, you're following this diagram, but for me it seems like another world. But I am gonna learn. I am eager to learn. But now enough about that. I'm gonna show you the other sock yarns that I bought, because they're beautiful. So I got this when I visited Denmark. Now he is coming. This is this self-striping yarn. Meilenweit, so it's actually a German name, from Lana Grossa. Lana Grossa is the brand. This is virgin wool, 75% and 25% polyamide. I got that one and this one in that same shop. It's also the Isager yarn, sockyarn, the same as the green one from before, color 33. And these two I bought at Gaustricken, Umbro. And then I got these two other sock yarns when I visited Knit Happens. This one doesn't have the thing anymore. It's also Avet. Yes. And one more yarn I got at Knit Happens was this one, because I already had one at home. And I saw that she was selling this. This is little less than one hole, but more than a half. And I got it a little bit cheaper. Then I have two, so I can make something bigger than just this one. That's really nice. Really happy about that. And then from another yarn shopping day that I showed in one video already, the Vlogmas, but I'm just going to show you real quick. This is called Valmue. Valmue by Tante Grøn. This is that Danish shop in Odense that I visited because they have a big Christmas market in Odense too, so I went there. This Christmas I went with my mom to a lot of Christmas markets. Normally we're not really people to go to Christmas markets, or yeah, I don't, because I'm moving away. I think we just did a lot of hanging out together and going places and having a great time together. Excuse me if you heard that. The toilet is flushing in the background. Such a small flat we have. So I have 3 of this. I'm gonna knit hoodie. Let me just find it for you. So I'm gonna knit this valley hood. And I already had some of this silk mohair to pair it with. It's a very basic color again. To have this, excuse me, very beige color again, but somehow that's what I wanted to buy. So I got another beige yarn again. And that in that shop I also bought this Isager Pomulin. It's like cotton and linen, and it has this blue jeans, light blue color. I might knit ranunculus with this or something. I've seen a lot of those on YouTube, so I really have to knit my own. So I can't wait for spring and summer so I can get knitting on all these summer knits again. I might just start before so that I'm prepared. Almost forgot. I am knitting on a sweater for a friend. It is the Anker sweater by Petite Knit, and it's for a man, so that's why. It's so big. Adult sweater in this green Sandnes yarn. Green, and then it's gonna get yellow in the bottom. He wished for that. He wants also one arm to be green and one arm to be yellow. The color is called Croissant, and the green is called Into the Forest, Into the Woods. I just realized when I stopped filming when I was done that there was one thing missing, because I started knitting, and the thing I was knitting on I hadn't shown to you. So that's how I realized I forgot something. So it's a balaclava, and that's the one that I also made for my partner. The one that I couldn't show you, that I showed you on a video maybe. But then I realized that's why I didn't need to show it to you, because I have one here. One that's also almost done. So it's a Pacman balaclava. Oh, now it's really dark. This Pacman Balaclava is blue, Sandnes yarn, Sandnes Double Sunday, and this is the Pacman Balaclava by Witre design. And this is the children size for my nephew, and the one I made for my partner is the adult size. So they have 3 sizes: children, junior, and adult. But this one, I think it's big enough for mine. He's not a child anymore, a little child. He's a school child, so a big child. But I think this will fit. I hope. I really hope. I made him another one, a biker's balaclava, but it was way too itchy, the yarn, so he was like, it's itchy. And this is merino, so it's gonna be soft. It's really soft. It's a Christmas present. And his sister is getting some Barbie clothing. I made a little Sophiescarf and a little sweater vest. I have it already wrapped. Yeah, I already wrapped it, so I can't show it to you. But this is almost done. I'm just finishing the top. I'm doing the increases, 2 increases on every stitch marker, so on every side. I didn't really, I mean, it's logical because it says you have to do 8 increases, but somehow when I read it, I didn't read it right. I'm just so used to Petite Knits patterns now. And they're very thorough and they're very step by step, and here's like you just do that on that and then on that, and I mean that's not how it was. I mean, I'm being maybe a little bit critical, and I was sick, I didn't understand, I ripped it up, and yeah, but that's it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching my video today. I hope you're having a great December or whatever time when you watch this. If you feel like giving me a like, please do, and I would also be super happy about a comment, but no pressure at all. It's just as a memory, because that is the way, that is what helps us YouTubers to get our videos viral, and yeah, that's very good. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!